Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg, and I am a psychoanalyst and also the owner of La Casa de Spa on, coincidentally enough, East 20th Street. So I thought I would spend a minute talking about a concept that I call building your psychological immune system, because we've been talking a lot about depression and anxiety and different kind of feeling states. And I like to think that we have a psychological immune system in the same sense that we have a physical immune system, and that helps to protect us from psychic pathogens, psychological danger, and that when we're kind of on top of our game, we recognize when something is coming at us that we experience as dangerous or injurious or harmful to us. So I thought it might be interesting for us to think about that concept as we go through the session today, in terms of when somebody is having an angry feeling toward us, for instance. How do we process that? Does that feel dangerous? Do we just get angry back and go into kind of kill mode because we're being threatened? So on the animal level, we're just going to go first? Do we roll over and play dead? I think that's a good psychological tactic sometimes. So group, where are we now? Where do we want to be? Where are we going? Where have we been?
I was interested in grief because our newest member here, and it's not just about losing a person. It's losing, whether it's losing a job or losing a purpose in life. I think everybody here is mourning something. And that's what makes us depressed. That's what makes us hostile. That's what gets us angry at ourselves, because we become disappointments to ourselves. And you hear the tapes of your parents in your head and your friends who are basically, and I think actually Kay and I were talking about this with the family issues, when you don't have a family to turn to, that you have to, I call it adult orphan. We become adult orphans. Right. So we're reaching out, trying to get that, quote, family, the American family that we've seen on Leave It to Beaver for so many years. And I think everybody here is mourning something. And when you can't get that thing that you've lost, it frustrates you even further and makes you more dysfunctional. As you want to get psychobabble, but that's basically what happens.
I'm feeling elated, which I feel often enough. So I do go on stage, I get audiences, and I like audience. I like being in a group of people and interacting, and I've said a few things and interacted some at this point, and feeling happy with the good feedback here and there, some of it nonverbal. And and knowing that this may be televised, I like the idea of some fame. I don't know how far I'm going to go with fame if I get famous.
What do you do on the stage?
Open mics. It's
comedy.
I do my emotional stream. I do my stream of consciousness. Some of the time it's comic. Some of the time it's dramatic. I use everything I can. I use my body. I dance some. I sing as well as I can sing. I don't consider myself a really good singer, but I like to sing, talk, I call it. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm not saying it can't change.
So you're here to become famous, because I have been accused for the last 13 weeks of wanting
not
to
back to you, do. Come on.
Well, I've been, it's true. I heard it on the last show. I heard it on the last show. Oh, she's not here because her agent got her a gig and she wants
Well,
to
you
Let
should be
go
happy
of it.
people are
Okay.
so interested in you. You should say,
Well,
oh my God.
I don't have an
so
agent,
special.
ladies and gentlemen, and I've been in the business 10 years and I haven't had my own show yet, so probably not. I'm here to get help.
Do you want to say something?
Well, I think it's kind of cool that he's that open about it. It's just like, you know what?
At least
If I get discovered on the, cool.
Well,
I like
but
that.
it's a
I
tool
bet he's
for me.
very honest.
Fame is a tool for me. I'd really like to do something large in the world to
Well.
contribute to things. And fame is, in a way, can be used as power to influence things and people.
I don't
And
think the show is going to be the one to do it.
But when you see these young kids,
I'm not talking about only the show. This is one thing. I don't expect to find one place where I'm going to get the form where I'm going to become the next Messiah.
Well,
No,
we
but
want
you-
this crazy
these
person
young,
on our
most
show,
of these
okay.
young teenagers these days, and it's funny you use the word fame. If you ask them what they want to be, I just want to be famous. No context of you, like you said, of being famous for something greater than myself, or being famous for like working for 40 years in a craft and then reaping a reward of fame. They just want the instant. I want to be famous,
I don't want to be famous. I just want to make
Pop
it.
culture.
and
I have that experience
Andy
too.
Warhol's saying that 15 minutes of fame it's more like 15 seconds now, but I never knew what the hell he was talking
What do you
about.
think reality
Until this-
shows do to
Till
these
this
people?
reality thing and
Yeah.
all this stuff
Mhm.
started creeping up, and people get 15 minutes of fame because they slept
Or
with Tiger
50.
Woods. You know, sleep with Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
you know, get on the cover of
I
People,
slept
you
with
do
him.
the circuit, get on the talk shows.
He just doesn't know.
You know?
I was in disgust.
When I get good feedback on something, when I get an applause, and I feel people in it, not just with, they're supposed to applaud, or I get personal good feedback, someone comes to me and tells me they like my performance, I like this, I love the praise. There's no doubt that phenomenon
Did you get that from your
happens.
parents? Because people who go into show
Oh.
business basically get it from the audience because they didn't get it from their parents.
That's
What
a
you're
good
saying,
point.
it's not new to me. That has been a major issue with me, like
Can you
why
tell us
I want
about it?
attention.
Can you tell us?
If you all want me to,
Yeah,
I'm
well, yeah,
interested.
why, yeah.
I have a question for Molly.
sure, okay.
I want to know if when you heard about Tiger Woods' indiscretions, did it make you happier?
Happier?
That's a great question.
Did you know Tiger Woods?
No,
Did you sleep with him too? I mean, I don't know.
were you one of the Woods girls?
He needed that Woody.
Back in the
day,
He always
yeah.
had a Woody. He always had a Woody.
Did it give you a moment of
No.
joy, lifting you just for a moment out of your depression? Did that
well,
happen
I wasn't
at all?
depressed when that was all going on. But,
You mean
So you didn't have it?
It didn't. I felt kind of sorry for him actually.
So did it make you feel worse?
He has a sex addiction.
Well, he's got issues, and so and everybody makes a big deal about it, and it's everyone wants to be famous, but being famous is a burden. And
Look at Dr. Drew and
Yeah, but I
Celebrity
think
Rehab.
That's true,
getting
too.
At, is she,
There are
Molly-
benefits and burdens.
what?
Molly, is she getting at that sometimes depressed people, like when I pick up the National Enquirer and I read about everybody else's misery, sometimes I feel a little bit better about myself.
It's the Greek tragedy of prose.
Yeah, he just gave away
You
$300
know,
million of his own money.
I
because
mean,
of it.
We like to build people up so they can fall.
But he's not.
Culture.
Maybe in the tradition of Greek tragedy that works. But Tiger Woods is, I just thought it was a little pathetic that they went after him like that.
I felt worse for Michael
Yeah.
Jackson because there was a guy who was abused as a child,
Yeah.
And I grew up with
And
a
look
guy
at
with
that
a
Brittany
talent.
Murphy. Died in her house,
Prescription
and then
drugs.
the Jets, the daughter of the Jets, going, she's going to inherit the whole Johnson and Johnson.
It's all
fortune,
prescription drugs, though.
and
It's
she's
scary.
dead at 30.
I think we have a society where people don't listen to one another, no
Here we
matter.
go. Here we go.
Here we
again.
go
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
part
important
10.
thing. You don't
It's
like
true. It's true, though. It's true. Some of the time,
Oh.
I'm feeling that you're over-focusing on that.
Who, me?
Yeah. But, I want to acknowledge there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, everybody's talking at me. They don't hear a word I'm saying. I used to teach theories of
He was
counseling.
just talking, though. You
and,
interrupted him.
no, I'm agreeing with them.
No, that's right. I took this as a dialogue. I've just made one
Right.
thing,
Who
and
are
he's
you?
responding.
I want to know what her
That was
answer.
a very nice thing.
I wanna
That was
know
a
your
nice,
answer
you
to our
segue
question.
nice.
So about Tiger Woods,
Yeah, like
I'm just saying that it didn't make me feel happier. In fact, I pitied him. I mean, it wasn't
I
a
pity his
question.
wife more, though.
Well, it's the whole situation. I mean, it's
The kids.
Awful.
The
It's
kids.
awful.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
He's destroying. He's
It
self-destructing.
didn't. It let's just say, if I had been depressed when it had happened, it wouldn't have. I wouldn't have thought, oh well, he's such a big fancy guy, and how the mighty have fallen. I tell you, who does make me feel better that he gets depressed. Do you know who Brian Ferry is?
Right.
Brian Ferry, he's
He's
dead, isn't he?
Musician.
No, he's
Oh,
a
no,
musician.
Oh, no, he's
Musicians,
alive. I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Roxy
of
Music. I mean,
Lovely,
this is
yeah.
one of the best-looking guys. He
Yes,
was
he
married to
is.
Jerry Hall before
Right.
Mick Jagger took her away, and he sings these just heart-rending
Right,
songs.
right.
And when I get really depressed, I listen to Brian Ferry, and I think, wow, if somebody that is really making it that big can feel this much pain
then you're okay.
then I'm okay.
That's good.
See, and I felt
That's
that way
the
about
beauty of
Mike.
music. That's
Yeah.
that is the beauty of music in our culture.
But I felt that way about Michael Jackson only because of his background. Because he was a child molester. He was a freak. You know, and I don't know if you guys have been watching the reality series of his brothers. They're as
Oh,
nuts
God.
as he was. They're as nuts as he was. And for him to die, and he had hundreds of people surrounding him.
Carol,
This guy wasn't
is
alone.
Barbara talking too much?
All of the People magazine topic right now, I think is kind of irrelevant to the group, but maybe it's relevant to everybody's lives.
It depends on who the
Just
person
not
was who
mine.
died, though. Some of us felt close to certain people that died because
Yeah.
we grew up with them.
So that's why I
We
didn't
are,
say
we are
anything.
relating our own feelings and our
To
own
that,
views.
to those
At
people.
some point, it may cut more directly
Right.
into
Right.
someone's personal
I
life.
find I too don't forget, because you are new, it is nice to have a topic where we're not too intense and heavy on, so we kind of feel each other out with how's the weather, with the Jets playing,
Well, I
Tiger
actually-
Woods,
yeah, I
this
did
and this
like
and
what
that,
you
and by
said very
people
much.
giving their
About
opinions on that, we can kind of feel each other out. So bear with us if it's
Yeah,
not.
No,
your
I
thing
get
for
it.
just
And
a little
also,
bit.
Paul, the reason I don't listen a lot sometimes, just so you know, when you say you think our whole society doesn't listen enough,
Right.
I think I'm very ADD. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm so ADD, I lose interest and I just like zone out, you know?
Yeah.
Like
but-
if it gets too deep, or too much information, or too technical, or too whatever,
Right.
I get bored.
But there's a commonality of experience, because you shared in your family that you were the youngest, I think, of 5 daughters,
Mhm.
and you were basically weren't listened to. You were kind of ignored. And Kay shared with us that her brother and her family in Union ostracizing her and abusing her. And I don't know if I shared that, you know, I grew up with a mother who rejected me. I was an embarrassment. She got a divorce when I was a baby. So listening, I mean, I think, and I wish I could hear more. I think this is a common theme that we all
But I
bring
think this is
into the
more of
group.
a human
Right.
condition
Right,
because,
right.
like for example, my father has a severe listening disability,
Uh-huh.
and my grandfather had it as well. And they're all my
It's
family. I've just spent 18
What do
days
you
with him.
mean? Like an actual
They
hearing
don't
problem?
listen.
No,
They're-
a hearing problem.
He has a
or
hearing issue, but a severe listening disability.
on top of it.
And they're just a bunch of transmitters, and you have to fight for airtime. And
Right.
so you get very good at speaking, because otherwise you're never going to
Yeah,
get your
you
time.
never get heard.
So
But
that's a
this-
theme in your life.
Well, but I don't. It doesn't bother me. It just hones your public speaking skills.
Yes,
And
yes,
so
it does.
all I'm saying, if you think it's this generation, it is the last generation.
That's
It's the
right.
generation before, and it
Mhm.
goes back to the time of I don't know when. I
Christ.
mean, I don't think it's
Well,
even-
they listen to Christ.
How can we
You
make
mean the
it
trouble
better,
with
though?
listening? That's what you're
Yeah,
talking
Yeah,
about.
most people don't listen, but
Yeah.
This
that's
is
a-
amazing. This is true of me too. A lot. Here, I don't think I'm coming across like that because I am listening and I'm feeling very piqued here and ready to give attention, really liking being a part of this. But so often, I can't understand what the hell people are saying. Half the things they say. And some of it has to go to people's failure to speak up. You know, a lot of people, they don't really want to be heard. Sounds something like that. They don't really, if you really ask them, if they really went into themselves, they have trouble wanting to be heard. They're afraid. They're shy some of the time. I'm lost in that right now. I've lost my whole
But
track.
you want to hear.
See, I didn't understand a thing you said.
No, but it
wanna
goes back.
hear.
So I guess you made your point.
Well, it goes back to people who
People
talk too
don't want to
much.
listen. I'm often like that, very often like that myself. That's what I'm saying. And I often have trouble hearing people because I pick up the part of people that are afraid to reach out and really, pay attention, give attention, express themselves.
I think it's also true with people who talk a lot, because I lived in a family where you're no good, you can't do this, you can't do that, and nobody gives a damn what you do. My mother had the same thing. She talked a lot. So, and it's because you want that approval. See, it's like getting on stage. When I'm on stage or in front of a camera,
Right.
it's an orgasm. It's better than sex.
Right.
Because you're getting whatever you put into it. So, when people say you talk a lot, well, why do you talk a lot? There's always something behind that.
Why do you think you talk
The-
a lot?
because I was screamed at my entire
So was I.
childhood.
So was I.
Yeah, and beaten.
So was
Ruthless.
I.
I wasn't sexually abused, so that's on the record, folks. Thank God, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But I'm just saying, for me.
So you never felt heard.
No, my father was too busy saying you're a cunt, you're a this, you're a that. You know, when you hear the 4-letter words. I mean, I knew the word fuck at 4, and I got thrown out of nursery school because I said bad words, and I slammed a book down emulating my stepfather. And I got kicked. I'm the only one I know of in the world, in the Guinness Book of World Records, that was kicked out of nursery school because parents were calling the school wanting to know, who is this kid who's saying God damn it and shit? Because that's all I heard, because my mother was called a slut. I knew every horrible curse except in German, and I learned that later, and Irish. So you're not being heard. You're being beaten. I got karate chops on the back of my spine where I would pee in my father's hand because I lost control of my bowels and everything. Because he
So I
hit me
wonder
so
if
hard.
Adrian has any thought about why you don't talk more.
Why don't I'm pretty much sick to myself often. I think that is a bit of the depression. I'm more isolated. I'm very observant. I do listen more than I speak. Is there a particular reason? I think I've always been a loner. I have a small crowd of people. Most of my friends I've known since like we were young. We all grew up together, and I tend to stick to a close net of people, and I don't branch out. as
You
often.
trust them.
Right. It may be a trust issue. It may just be a comfort issue. But yeah, and sometimes it does take me a while to warm up. I notice that when I get new employment, initially I don't speak to a lot of people, and then over time I do gain a large network of people. But I think that, yeah.
Do you also think people might not understand what you're going through right now, and you know what I mean?
I feel that everyone does relate on a certain level, especially the level of depression. I think everyone has different stages of it. You mentioned about people who are like in poverty. They have a different reason to be depressed, but at the same time, they're celebrities and millionaires who are also depressed. So it's not, a social status issue. It's just about
No,
something.
this, what I'm saying is it's a luxury to be able to talk about it. Not that people don't get depressed.
Well, I'm not trying to criticize what you're saying. I'm just saying that people's depression people have different levels of depression, and everyone experiences it, and it may be a different experience for different people. So just like she said, that's something I may relate to. So I think that we all relate on that scale, maybe just in a different way.
So how can a group fix something like that, in your opinion?
What do you mean?
Well, by participating in the group, do you have an expectation that that could be helped in you and anybody, and that's something a group can do?
Depression.
Yeah, that we can listen to one another
Depression, yeah.
and talk to one another. Is that a fair
I think
expectation?
I don't think that this may make me more social. I think that it's just something I just have to warm up to. I don't have any
Repeat that. It's
expectations.
something you have to.
We only have one session
Warm-
left.
Open to.
warm up to.
Right?
Right. I don't have any expectations. No.
16, that's it.
Oh, I thought we were doing 40. Oh, all right.
Yeah, he is
No,
who
no,
he
no,
is.
I
He
don't
doesn't
even
think it's
know
going to
what
make you
we're
more
doing
social, is
anymore.
what he's
No,
saying.
here's what I
So
think.
he,
Does it have anything to
he's
do
kind of a
with
loner.
fear of judgment? Like people judging you if you speak?
No.
He might just enjoy his
Oh,
own
you've got a
company.
nice, easygoing
Maybe he just digs his own
personality.
company, you know?
I would hire
He's
you
a-
in a
seems
minute.
like a great guy.
He's
Probably-
more private.
By the way, how do you get hired? Because I'm having trouble with that
sweetheart.
issue. I'd like to know what you're looking
You'd make a
for.
great personal assistant.
Paul, would you be
Really,
interested
very nice.
in my idea of how group therapy helps people to
Yes, I'd like to hear from
be
you about that.
emotionally integrated?
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to comment, one of the highlights the last time we met, and even here today, is I think that you, as the group leader, when you share your personal stories, I think that's very helpful to the group. I think it is for me, that you're freeing us up to share our innermost feelings. And so you're talking about your mom and dad. I think that's a high point,
Well, we
because
can
it
read
allows other people to share.
We all can.
Yeah,
and I
for those
think-
of us who are adult orphans.
So you like
I like that.
seeing me as human.
Yes.
Well, you are human.
And not as a dictator, right? Yeah, no, I think that's the high point, and I think the very last session last time, I think it was a really wonderful session. And I want to say that when I used to have great classes or great groups, it was like a spiritual high. And I want to say that I left last time, the last segment, really was feeling high. And it was really a great human interaction.
That's
And I want to
nice
share
hear.
that with the group.
Thank you.
Know,
Thank
say that
you.
now.
Don't therapists have to see therapists, Jane, though, too? Do you? I mean, you have to see a therapist, right? Because you're getting paid to hear other people's problems. That's got to drive you crazy, part of the fun. But, I mean, I know for a fact that everybody I see sees other people to keep grounded. Am I right? And it makes you more human.
I'm just waiting to see when the question's going to end.
No, that's a no, but it's a bona fide question because I think a lot of people don't realize that it's
But do you understand that you've asked the question for 5
Consultants.
minutes?
No, it actually was
Yeah.
less than a minute.
Well, it wasn't really 5 minutes.
Well, I'd like
Um,
to hear
just felt
from
like-
Jane's response to your sense of the group.
Go back to how
Yeah,
group helps.
Right.
I think that people defend against feeling and defend against knowing where they're at in the moment. And when one does that, the psychic apparatus gets jumbled and confused and jangled, and we experience it in lots of different ways. It might be in the manifestation of depression, it might be, as Barbara manifests it, that a kind of constant need to kind of put yourself out there and not be so receptive to what it is that she might be able to get from people if she would just be a little more quiet. So I think that when we come together, and our express purpose is to look at what we're thinking and feeling moment by moment and sharing that with each other, that we come to know ourselves. We come to be centered in ourselves. And then when we have acquired that skill, we feel whole and we feel
Right.
integrated.
And I just want to add that spiritual high I had from the last time we met before the holidays, it was a wonderful feeling, and I'm hoping to have more of that. And I joined the group in less than 24 hours because Paula Gloria told me about it, and I've been much to myself because of my vision and the divorce and the 3 children, and I'm so entangled in my thoughts that I thought it'd be healthy to try to share things with other people in a human way and get
So
the substance. And it was a therapeutic family. For the first time, I had this epiphany that not only is it going to be a therapeutic community, but actually, last time I felt it was like a therapeutic family, satisfying needs, obviously.
So there's a kind of administrative issue that we need to resolve here. There was, during the course of the group, about 15 minutes ago, there was a little sidebar happening between these two,
Which
and Kay and Barbara, because we committed to 16 weeks, and this is our 16th session, but not our 16th week.
No,
Right.
16th
Oh,
show,
okay.
but not 16th week.
Yes.
Oh, I thought this was
okay.
ending on Monday. I'm like,
Well,
shit, we're in
Well, the
trouble.
question is, do we want to do 16 sessions, or do we want to do 16 weeks? If
I
we
don't
do
think this is
16,
enough.
It's done.
we do
is not
16 weeks, it's 16 times 3,
Right.
since we're taping 3 sessions each time we come into the
48
studio. So that would be
episodes.
48 episodes. So do we want to do 16 weeks or 16?
No, I'd rather
No,
do
it seems
48
like
episodes.
We're in our adolescence,
Yeah.
and we're building ahead of steam, and I
Didn't accomplish
envision that
much.
we could get really good with one another,
So
and
you,
helping one another.
you vote for 16 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, because you can
Okay.
get cured in 16.
So can we, if we vote for 16 weeks, can we agree that no one here is going to drop out?
Unless you have to pay job.
Apparently
I can't
that's
say- if I have to
impossible to
work,
do.
I have to work.
You can extract a commitment. It doesn't mean that they'll
Doesn't mean
hire
it's
us.
gonna work, yeah.
Right.
But
I-
feel
I'm
free
willing
to
to
try to
commit.
extract it.
Yeah, I'm willing. I mean, I've been committing.
There's one more week.
Day
I
one.
I thought it was going to be like 16 weeks from now when I first heard
So are you
this.
willing to make that commitment? I mean, the
I'll
best
be-
of your ability, of course.
And I was ready to say yes to that,
And-
but now
Well,
it's going to be less. But I want to
16
come. Yes,
more
I wanna
weeks
come.
or 8 more weeks?
It's 8 more weeks.
Eight more
Because I start a whole job in March,
Oh.
and so I'm willing to go through practically the end of March.
Eight more
And
weeks.
Andre?
I'm definitely trying this out, so I'm not ready to make a commitment.
You're not ready to
at
make a
this-
commitment
No,
yet.
not at this point.
Okay,
I'm
that's fair enough.
Well, as long as the oldsters.
So have you had a negative experience that would lead you to be ambivalent?
No, I haven't had a negative experience, but I don't know if this. I don't know what I would reap from it. So I just want to see if would it be a positive experience. So it's something I would definitely like to.
Yeah, but are you going to make that decision after 2 sessions, 3 sessions, after he gets bonded again, and then
Yeah,
you're going to
then
leave,
we go through
and then
this
I
again.
have to have
And
my,
then Kay will have to.
and then
save
I have
it.
to save you.
You can save yourself.
So you can't mess with that now. You got to if you're going to make a decision, hurry up, make it the next couple times. Don't come 10 times and then figure that's it.
It's going to be tough at times. We're not going to lie to you. I mean,
So-
if you watch
that-
any of the shows, it's some of them have
Carol,
been
do
pretty.
you feel that would be fair of me to expect that? Like,
Yeah,
because
I
you're a
do
good
think it's-
gauge. Like,
I do think it's fair.
Like if he's going to make a decision, make it in the next 1 or 2 sessions. Don't
Yeah.
stay here for 4 or 5 and then split. Like if Andreas had done that,
yeah, I was sorry
that
that,
would have
he
been
was
different,
I'm
right?
s- I was sorry
He was
that
the
he
main
wasn't
player,
already
yeah. That's
convinced
weird.
that he would
like
benefit.
he was here for
Yeah.
a lot of sessions,
Tremendous.
and
Yeah,
then
then
he
he
just
But I
drops
does
out
understood
right
that,
at
and
the
I
very
That's
really
being
respect
dumped.
your,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
your,
Right.
your candor. Your
Maybe there should
honesty.
be a deadline. Maybe it should be 2
Well,
sessions.
but
Well, that's what she just said.
Yeah,
But
that's
guys,
what
I
she said.
thought about
Yeah, I know.
leaving
She was talking
in the
about
middle
deadline,
of the
but I
last
wasn't
session.
sure how
You
long.
did?
Sure,
Yeah, but you thought about it, but you still came in
thought
and
about
you
it.
admitted
I
that you
did.
thought about it.
I thought about
And
it.
you should come back
I
and
thought
talk
about
about why you
leaving
want to
too.
leave.
I
So-
thought about leaving.
So the definition of psychoanalysis is that you come, and if it's an individual session, you lie on the couch. If it's the group session, you sit in the chair, and nothing else happens. And for the work to succeed, no matter what you feel, if you feel like bolting, if you feel like killing me, it looked like you felt like killing me a little while ago. And I think Barbara seems to think that I feel like killing her. But I'm not going to. I'm
Someone else might get there before
I'm staying
you.
in my chair. And so my recommendation to all of you and to all of the deceased brethren that are no longer with us is that everybody do the work, that you commit to doing the work, and no matter what you feel, you honor the commitment that you have made to do this work, no matter what you feel.
But Jane,
that
you
the
really think
feel
we're going to get cured by the end of the
well,
next
I
16
know
weeks?
this method is curative.
Yes.
I know the method of
Sweet
having
Jesus.
all of your thoughts and all of your feelings and not doing anything about them, just spending time looking at them, observing them. I mean, the Buddhists have been doing it for 5,000 years. They call it meditation. We call it psychoanalysis, and we do it socially as opposed to sitting by ourselves. Well, they sit in company also in ashrams. So, yes, I know the method works. We've known for 5,000 years.
So
the
my
method
therapist
works.
is going to have a miracle that
So
I've
do
been
you,
cured.
do you feel better that you didn't bolt?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Barbara,
I think that's a
Good
normal
question.
thing.
Yeah,
no, I
to
did.
feel
Barbara,
that.
you're
do.
not following the model. You're always on discharge mode. You're not observing yourself. If you would get interested in observing yourself instead of spewing out whatever it is that you're thinking and feeling, you would see better progress.
But I thought some people here were accusing me of not being in touch with my feelings.
No, nobody's accused you of not being in touch. You have very powerful feelings, and you believe in the, like Walter maybe, you believe in the expression mode of cure. That Freud abandoned that. It doesn't work.
Expression.
I guess being an actor
There's
sucks.
got to be a
then.
balance between the two. There's got to be some expression, and there's got to be some
Yeah.
reflecting, looking inside.
I mean, creativity sucks. It doesn't work.
Sometimes, and also sometimes
We're
discharging
over.
your feelings is not really feeling them.
Right.
Now
In
you're not
fact-
ready to go,
In
right?
fact, it absolutely bypasses
Now he wants to
feeling.
stay.
Some of the time, but
No,
discharging
actually, I'm not
quite
feeling
often
too great. So
is
I'm ready to go.
necessary
Yeah,
to
get
feel.
the
I'm really ready.
Although it's not the only
Well, no,
thing.
no,
You got a little half hour.
Oh,
you
yes,
need
it
that.
is.
It's
You
a
coming back in?
valuable,
It's avoiding
I
your
probably
feelings.
will.
Yes,
but
you
it's
will.
not
I
necessary
probably will.
It'll be
to. It's not
taken minute,
necessary
right?
to express feelings to have feelings.
I believe so.
Feelings are an internal
I like to
state.
try it.